What's up, guys? It's your boy Noah back again with another video. And today I wanted to make a video that was a little bit different than what I'm used to. Basically, I've come across some interesting people lately through TikTok, social media, whatever, and basically it got me thinking. I've met a number of people, I guess celebrity call them if you will. And I think that they would be fun to share the stories of how I met them or what they were like as people, because it's not every day that you come across these people, and a lot of people maybe you watching are like an idol, like they're an idol for you or something. So I wanted to make a video talking about encounters with certain celebrities that I've had throughout the years, doing interviews, going to a lot of festivals downtown. um, what else? Yeah, traveling, making content. So here we go. So how I'm gonna organize this is I'm gonna start with like the big names, like the global names. Then I'm gonna go to the B list celebrities, and then I'm gonna end with like local celebrities that very few of you probably will know, but if you do know, then you're gonna be like, oh, that's pretty cool, because I'm from Montreal, and so it has a certain kind of feeling to it when you talk about these people. So the first person I want to talk about is Adam Sandler. When I was doing interviews downtown of local artists and entrepreneurs, I would sometimes go before like a meeting. I would go to the Ritz Carlton and have a tea, a coffee, at the time maybe even a drink, because having a drink in a nice place costs the same anywhere, right? Like you get a gin and tonic is going to cost the same thing as if you go to a shitty bar or like close enough. So I was at the Ritz Carlton, and I would take the opportunity to like meet people that I thought might have some money or some opportunities. And so I was talking to this guy from Vancouver, and he was talking. We are just like networking, I guess you can call it. And then he starts telling me like that Adam Sandler's in the back. Like he's pointing at him. He's like, "This is Adam Sandler." The guy looked like you wouldn't think, because like you see this guy on the TV. Like his energy was so much more low key. He had the mustache too going because he was filming Murder Mystery with Jennifer Aniston. And so I saw him and I was like, I had met a couple of people by then, but nothing as big as Adam Sandler. And I told myself, I'm not going to be that guy who basically takes a picture, because the thing is the moment I take a picture with him, is it ruins any possibility of having a relationship with him. And I see myself in like years and years, like potentially coming across him again and saying this story and not coming off as like a huge like clout chaser fan. So he's having dinner with his kids. Obviously the typical thing to do is not to don't interrupt the dinner. I wait for him to finish dinner. He comes, he's walking in my direction, so I get up and I shake his hand. When I think about it, shaking hands with like a celebrity must not be comfortable for them. So I don't think that's something I'm going to do anymore, unless like I really know them. But I shake his hand and I tell him like I'm a big fan of yours, and like basically just gave him like a little speech, but not like a thirsty like fan, like more like a respectful fan. And I respect what you've done, and like I really admire you and whatever. And I hope you enjoy Montreal. So then he talked for like a minute about Montreal and he likes it, whatever, and that was it. But a lot of people would think that there's not much there because you're just a short interaction. But the thing is, for me, like energy is very important. So the energy that he gave, having had already met a lot of people, he gave such good energy, like such a like warm energy. You know, a lot of people there, especially local people, which I'll get to at the end, they're not nice. Like they're bitter or they're scared or I don't know what it is, but this guy came off friendly. His body language was good. He was a warm toned, just a nice person. So Adam Sandler, respect. So the next one is, I was going to Florida with a friend who was going to meet a family member for the first time. And I was just joining him because I wanted to travel with him. And in the airport, he's a big basketball like fan, and I wasn't at all like at that time, so I didn't even know who this was, which was one of the greatest players of all time, and it was Scotty Pippen. So he's sitting, and you can clearly see that he's much taller than everyone. He's like probably like between 6'8" and 7 foot, I'd say, something like that. Maybe a little bit taller. I don't know. So he's like fucking tall and surpassing everything. And my friend, who's like not experienced in meeting people like that, he was like, he was scared to go up to him. But I had met already a couple of people too, so like I was like, I knew that they were just chill usually. So I went up to him and I told him, hey, like I'm a big fan, even though I didn't know who he was. And I told him that my friend here, he's too nervous to talk to you, but he would like to take a picture with you. So I got a picture with my friend and Scottie Pippen. Him, and then oh yeah, and then in the airplane, he's in first class. So I like shake his hand again, and his hand is like so fucking long, and he's like so long, and but he was very cool. But you can see that he wasn't like, he didn't definitely didn't have that warmth that Adam Sandler had. He was like a little bit more reserved, not cold, more reserved. And I mean that's fair. It's like he's fucking Scottie Pippen. So third, so third is I have a neighbor who works in post production in a company in Montreal. We're like known in Montreal for post production of movies, and a lot of movies are filmed here too. So he had access to a movie set in which it was called White House Down, which Channing Tatum was starring in. That day, Jamie Foxx was supposed to be there. He didn't show up on set or something like that. But basically, Channing Tatum was there. Like he was supposed to arrive. He was late, and I knew that he was coming, and I had to make myself available to him. Like I had to be in his way so he can say hi to me. I was like maybe 15. I think this was one of my first people. I met people before, but I'll talk about that in another video. So it's like the opening, like there's a set in a building, and in the entrance, like he has to pass through there to get into the set. I knew that. So I stood there, and it was raining, like pouring, it was freezing. But I was like committed to it, right? Because Channing Tatum at the time, like I was watching 21 Jump Street. I was like, I loved like what he was doing. So he just like pulls up in like a golf cart, and he's like he's already like fully dressed, and then he sees me like in the rain, like hair wet, everything. And he's like, he starts talking to me. He's like the sweetest person ever. He's like telling me like, hey, what are you doing out here? Like, come in. Like, you're not supposed to like it's not good for you to stay in the rain like this, whatever. So he like walks me into the set. Then I like let him do his thing, whatever. And he's like practicing his lines while dressing like as the like basically like a security guard for the White House, basically. And he's like, "What's up?" Like, and he's like dressed up, and like it was so cool. So another great person, Channing Tatum, such a nice person. And then now I'm gonna go into the more B list people. Basically, these I've met at actually the same event. It was just the Just for Laughs festival in Montreal, and this festival is huge for comedians. Like a lot of people come here for that, and I had access to it because I was very in touch with what was going on. I had a media pass and I had access to certain crowds. So there was this one guy. His name is Nick Swartzen. He's in all the Adam Sandler movies. He's like a short blonde guy. And honestly, there's not much to say there, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it. But he looked like he was a little bit on edge. Like he looked like he had maybe taken something. Nick, if you're watching this by any chance one day, I'm not insulting you. Please, this is what it came across. And then the other person that was interesting was Russell Peters. Russell Peters is like a Canadian comedian who's like in the 2000s was like one of the biggest. Like, and I had a friend, a girl that I was friends with, let's say that, and she had like a connection with him. So they were like, so she basically introduced me to him. I took a picture with him, and I honestly don't remember that much, but from what I remember, he was cool, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so now I want to go more into the local people. These are like the bigger names. Like if you know this, you know that they're known. So the first is K Tronada. K Tronada is a Montreal producer. He's known now everywhere for his like kind of deep house music. He's made music for The Weeknd. Uh, he's made music with The Weeknd. I think he made music with everyone, but like I think like one of his main collaborators is The Weeknd because like he's always like with him. Anyway, this guy's done music with everyone. Pharrell, like Chance the Rapper. I don't know, and and so I met him a couple of times, and each time I met him, he was always very cold. Like him in Montreal is like one of the he's like almost like a king in Montreal because he's one of the few people in that industry in the rap or R&B or whatever or house whatever you want to call it. It's like a mesh of everything that made it global. So when he's here, people all want his attention. So he was very distant, but I met his brother Lou Phelps, who has a lot of songs with him, and he was very cool. And actually, I met him a couple of times, and I asked him if I can interview him. And at the time, I was doing interviews, so I went to his house. So I went to Kitchenada's like childhood home, and like he was showing me all these like the Kaz statues, the bear brick. This is like 2018, so all the sneakers, like a wall of sneakers that are probably at the peak costed $2,000-3,000, probably more. And he showed me some beats that they were working on, and I met the mom. And honestly, Lou Phelps, I gotta give it to him. He was cool with me at that point, and I was just a young, kind of a clout chaser at that time. And so, yeah, K Tronada didn't have the best interactions with him. I've heard a lot of people say this, and recently he made a concert in Montreal where no one was really like feeling it. Like he didn't get a lot of excitement for the crowd, and I think that's a reflection of his demeanor. It's like if you're meeting Adam Sandler and he's one of the nicest people, and then Channing Tatum, and then U.S. Kitchenada, like you can't just reciprocate that energy for someone who's admires you. Is like it's just a shame. Okay, now this is another one, but this one's a kind of maybe one of the more interesting ones because her name is Elisabeth Rioux. She used to be a big influencer in like 2018 before she had some controversy happen. And she has a swimmer line, which was big at the time 2018, 2019, 2017. And basically, at one point, I was doing these interviews and she put an ad that she was like gonna do like a sale at her warehouse. So I was like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to go and try to get an interview. So I go in person, I talk to her, she's super cool. I asked her for an interview. And then the next day I go again to her office. She gives me like a tour of the whole office. And what's interesting about this story is that it showed me it was the first time I got in the thousands of views because especially back then, like TikTok now anyone can get thousands, but back then on YouTube you needed a certain level of power to have thousands. And that's my point is like when I associated my brand to Elisabeth Rioux, I learned how powerful like shit can rub off on you. Like I got like all my other videos have like 100, 200 views, whatever, and then that one is the one that had 13,000 views. Even though it wasn't that good of an interview, it wasn't that well made, but because her name was associated to it, it was like wow, and it made me get a feel for the first time of what it feels like to have that kind of value. So yeah, and then I have more people, but I'm not sure I want to talk about them just yet. I think I'll make a second part, but as for now, I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of concept. I have a lot more to talk about, so let me know. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and talk to you soon.